Somebody joined? All eating fellows. Good afternoon to all the teachers and students present in this meeting. I am Nithyasree, pursuing my Masters in Literature at KG College of Arts and Science, and today I am going to be presenting a lecture on the topic Break the Barriers. So now, what is a barrier actually? When you wanted to do something, there normally arises an obstacle. So that obstacle is called a barrier. And how to break that barrier is going to be my topic of the day. So let's move on to the presentation. So there are a few sources of barriers. First of all, for example, let's take in the pandemic situation, there are so many families who financially struggled, right? So that is a financial barrier. How to overcome that financial barrier is still a question mark in so many families. For example, I am a person from a middle class family, and I struggled financially to cope up in this pandemic situation, especially when it comes to paying fees and buying books for my academics and so on and so forth. Likewise, few of the bachelors who wanted to continue their education, and not only bachelors, so many people had barriers in their finance. So, how to handle that finance? What is the source of a barrier there? Money is the source of the barrier there. And what is the cause of the barrier? It's an important thing to know the cause of a barrier whenever you get some barrier on your way. According to me, barrier is of two kinds. One is external and the other is internal. So what's external and internal? Let's look at the internal first. Internal barrier here I refer. I earn, for example, I earn 10,000. I spend it for my own sake. And at last, when I need finance to be supported for some reason, I don't have money in my hand. That is internal barrier. Going to external barrier, uh, unemployment is my problem in the pandemic. I am not at all employed. I did not get salary. So that is an external barrier. So this is the difference between internal and external barrier. Internal barrier is somewhere where you yourself lack in a certain kind of thing. And external barrier is a social cause that puts you in a lacking situation. This is the difference between internal barrier and external barrier. So progress. The word progress may repeat in all the slides because it's one of the prominent points when it comes to a barrier. You'll understand the meaning of the progress when I explain it in each and every slide. The meaning of progress in every perspective when it comes to barrier differs. So here in this place, progress means the progress of your barrier. At what stage your barrier is sustaining? Is it the same as of the day one till the present situation? Or you have taken some baby steps to control your barrier, and that means the progress of the barrier. It actually denotes the like downfall of the barrier or rising situation of your barrier. That is the progress. Action. What action? Your action determines the progress of the barrier. Actually, if you have taken any what steps to control the barrier, you might have see a downfall in the barrier. So such kind of situations have to be made because your barrier cannot sustain the same from the beginning till the destination, right? So you have to make something to overcome your barrier, and that makes an impact on your barrier. So make note of it. Solution. When you start acting, definitely you will arrive at a solution because barrier is not something that everybody keeps as it is. Everybody has to overcome a barrier so that he or she can attain what they actually want, right? So only when you start acting, you will get a solution for your barrier. Moving to the next slide. Why it's actually a barrier? So guys, let's take one example. I am a student of English literature, right? Initially, there will be a strength and weakness for every individual. Am I strong or am I weak? If at all I am weak, I'll take everything as a barrier. If I'm strong, there will be certain points, certain areas where I feel it's a barrier, right? So that area means you should implement something to improvise your weakness, right? So when you are not implementing something, that is actually a barrier. So for example, I struggle to speak English. That is my weakness. Okay, being a literature student, but that too being an English literature graduate, if I lack speaking in English, That is my barrier. So to overcome that barrier, I should take some steps. If I'm not taking steps, it's actually a barrier, right? So that is all about this slide. Let me explain the points. Ways to overcome. If I lack speaking English, I should try out something. Maybe I can download applications in my mobile. I should train myself to overcome this barrier by practicing regularly, at least for half an hour or 1 hour a day. I should come across some new words. So there are different kind of barriers in certain kind of a thing. I lack English. Where do I lack? I have thoughts in my mind. Am I not able to put out the thoughts? That is one kind of barrier. Do I lack in vocabulary to put out my thoughts? That is another kind of barrier. Do I lack in writing the language? That is another kind of barrier. So there are different kinds of barriers when it comes to a certain point of weakness. That should be identified. Only then you can implement something to overcome your barrier. So first find out what actually your barrier is and just start analyzing why it is a barrier. If I'm taking some steps towards it, it will improvise. So my barrier is going to be reduced, right? So just try to analyze the area of your barrier. Then hindrance to growth. Every barrier is actually a hindrance to growth, right? Whenever you try to, like implement something, there will be an obstacle. If at all, I join, let's take, I lack speaking English, so I'm joining a coaching class where they give training to speak English. One day I may not have any facility to go to the coaching center, like transporting facility or something like I may not have money to go afford for bus tickets and go. And the other day I may have some physical problem like illness, and on the other day family situation might not be an affordable one to send me out for the coaching. So there are certain kind of hindrances when it comes to barrier. So your hindrances must be identified in your barrier so that you can perform more efficiently, that it produces an effective result. Okay. Nextly, progress of the barrier. Yes, here there is a progress in the previous slide, and in this slide also I have mentioned progress of the barrier. Here actually the progress of the barrier means how far you are better enough to handle your barriers. That makes sense actually. You should try to handle your barriers in a wise manner. Everybody will have a barrier. Everybody will choose a certain way to overcome their barrier. But what is your wisest way of handling? See, in this highly competitive world, you just can't survive with hard work. You need some smart work. If at all I'm not able to go for the coaching center, what materials can I afford to improvise my English? I have mobile in my hand. I may download applications and try with it. Or if I am not having mobile, if my family situation is too bad to send me out for a coaching, it doesn't matter. I may get a book for a low cost and start with a baby steps. Actually, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. So when you start taking one step forward, you'll get solution for all the things that you are going to face subsequently. Okay? So never hesitate to keep a step forward, especially when it comes to handling yourself. Implementing strength. So when it comes to handling barriers that are difficult to you may be weak at heart, or it may give you some kind of distractions. So just implement strength in that. Uh, when I speak English wrongly, my classmates may mock at me. When I'm not able to handle my family finances, my relatives will talk bad about me, right? So these are few hindrances for which you will have to implement strength to overcome that. So don't hesitate to proceed things just because somebody is like something to you. Like if they are mocking at you, if they are criticizing you, that is all they can do. Nobody is you, and that's your power. You have to be number one so that you can be unique. It's okay to be odd if you have to be number one. So there is no point in worrying about somebody else's opinion. Somebody else's opinion does not have to become your reality. So just keep going in your own way so that your destination will be better than theirs. Okay? Overcome them. Yes, when you start taking small, small steps, definitely you will find the better way to overcome your barriers. Next slide. Parts of an obstacle. Yes, as I have mentioned earlier, there are certain points, there are certain things you have to handle in your barrier. You should divide it into parts. When I said that I'm lacking in English, where do I lack? Do I lack in putting my thoughts into written form, like in examinations, writing English? Do I lack in that, or do I make grammar mistakes in my exams, or do I struggle to speak English when I have thoughts? Am I not able to put it out, or am I not able to implement new style of writing or something that seems impressive to the paper, to the one who corrects paper, or do I not have correct form of words to put it in such a way that it goes and conveys in the right manner to the audience? There are certain parts of the barrier, as I told. So you should find out where exactly your weakness is. All of a sudden, a burden will not fall on your head. Every burden will have a certain area to crucially test you, to give you a critical point. So that critical point has to be analyzed so that a better solution arrives. Train your weakness. So if at all I am unable to get a job, it may be if I am a graduate, I may lack in some interview skills. Actually, many of the youngsters of today, after pandemic especially, we are scared of attending interviews. Almost for 2.5 years, it was like online interviews and then appointments, recruitments, so and so. But after this, when situation turned upside down, when it came to offline, we struggled to face some interviews and all that. Where do I lack in this? Am I not able to prepare a proper resume, or am I not able to answer to the interviewer properly, or am I not able to maintain my body language, or am I not able to convey the answer properly? So there are certain points where we lack. So you should train your weakness, you should identify your weakness in that barrier, and you should try to train your weakness so that it will be very easy to you to handle your barrier. Nextly, split it into parts. If you identify your weakness, okay, this is where I lack. I lack in preparing my resume. So what should I do? Where do I lack in actually preparing a resume? In putting my career objectives, or in adding up to the certifications of mine, or putting an interesting and impressive resume into the hands of the recruiter? Where do I lack? So you should try to split your weakness into parts, so that I mean, in a barrier, you separate your barrier into parts and you identify what is your weakness. After identifying your weakness, you should separate your weakness into parts so that you will get to know the crucial point where you actually lack. So that makes sense actually. As I have mentioned earlier, smart work is more important than hard work. So work smart if at all you have to overcome the biggest barriers, okay? Do not strain. All at once, Rome was not built in a day, right? So all at once, in one single kick, you can't break your barrier. It should take a lot of time. It will take a lot of time, and it should require a lot of efforts. So work in such a way that people just wonder at you. People who criticized you for your finance and people who mocked at you for your wrong English should feel proud of you. Is this the same person I have seen before? It's in your hands to make it. So try to handle your barriers in such a way. Keep up routine. I'm unable to get a job and I'm unable to speak English properly. What if I attend my coaching class only one day, and what if I skip after failing from one interview? That's not going to make sense, right? You should keep up your routine. You should try to follow certain things so that you know, your barrier gets decreased day by day. It should not increase day by day. It should decrease day by day. So you should perform your activities in such a way that you are smart enough and wise enough to handle your barrier in the right direction. Okay? The actual struggle. Pains are common. Everybody will have a certain point of time where they feel painful. When my relatives mock at my finance, when they criticize me that I'm not able to get a job to handle my finance, I will definitely I will definitely feel low, right? That pain is common. When people laugh at my wrong English, it will be hurting. Why am I not able to do that? That will be quite common thing. But always remember, there is a pleasure in every pain. It is in your hands that how you take it. Okay? Simplify a strategy. This also comes under smart work strategy. Okay? It is not like everybody does this to overcome financial barrier. I'm doing it. See, every individual is born unique, and every uniqueness has a unique talent. I am failing in my interviews. Why do I fail? And where do I pass? Like the interviewer asked me such kind of questions like introduce yourself, introduce me about your family and all that. I'm able to answer all that. I'm able to answer to all my subject related questions. Subjective questions are also in my hands. I'm able to answer to that. But when it comes to some critical point of questions, like tell me something about the organization, or tell me how much package do you expect, I'm not able to answer such kind of questions. So in this area you lack. So you should, try to handle it far better than your previous failure, so that this certain improvements will add up to your, strength. So you should try to do that. You should simplify a strategy for this. Everybody will answer to the question like, tell me something about this organization, or why do you expect us to recruit you for our organization? Everybody will give a common answer like, I searched in net like so and so, and I everybody will point out to the appreciation of the organization just for the sake of getting appointed in that organization. But how do you make it unique? Your answer, that one single answer, should make sense. Think in a dimension where nobody goes out of anything. You should be out of the box. Your thoughts should be out of the box. It is only the out of the box thinking that will add an impression in your performance. So simplify strategies for everything you do. Avoid procrastination. So, like as I told, if I'm quitting from the uh, progress after my first failure, it is not definitely going to make sense that I'm going to reach my destination. And that's not going to be your cup of tea, of course, right? So just don't procrastinate everything. If I have to become a fluent speaker of English, I should daily train myself in that part. If I want to financially uplift my family, if I'm not getting proper job, I should identify where I actually lack and try to implement the uh, certain things where I can actually improvise myself so that I get a better job and my family financially sees better than yesterday. So it is in your hands. If at all you procrastinate, then you are the one who is going to lose things. So never think of procrastination. Okay, dispose negativities. There will be certain kind of people. For example, I faced one such thing. Uh, when I was studying in my ninth grade, actually maths is my weaker part of subject. So I used to get very low marks in math compared to the other subjects. Whereas my other subject marks will be like 80, 85 and all that. When it comes to math, I'll be like 35, just pass for 100 and 40, something like that. My maths teacher used to scold me very badly that I am not going to make it up in my 10th standard board exams. But you know what is my actual score in my 10th standard board exams? I scored 92 out of 100 in my mathematics. So how was that possible? If at all I have taken to the heart those negativities thrown at me by my teacher, people will of course throw cold waters on you, because sprinkling cold waters is just like you know happiness to the society. So everybody will do that. It is in your hands how you take it and make it. If you wanted to become better, you will not take it to your heart. If you wanted to implement that you know criticism and all in your life, you will take it to your brain and start working on it. So it is how you differentiate the negative opinions and negative vibes that come at you. Okay, impose abilities. So when people talk negative about me, if I am like, yeah, what they are telling is right, and I'm not fit for it, then what is the point of proving that negative negative thought or opinion thrown at me, then definitely it is going to be proven by their side, not by my side. If I have to prove that their opinion is wrong, I should work on my part. How can I work on my part? I should impose my abilities into it. Only then I can reach out far better and prove that their opinion is wrong. Study progress. Avoid inferiority complex. Avoid inferiority complex. So inferiority complex is something like everybody will have within themselves. When you're not able to put out, when you're not able to show off, when you struggle to be normal in a group, around a group of people, you will definitely get an inferiority complex. But guys, that is not at all a point. Even a person who is in a higher designation might have some inferiority complex. But if you are sustaining with that inferiority thought, it is not going to add up to breaking your barrier. It's just a part of the barrier. So just skipping that inferiority complex and start working on it, okay? Act on time. There are certain things that have to be analyzed when it comes to, breaking your barriers. All at once, I can't, go for a job, right? When I get a postal like a company, an organization is recruiting so and so, I can apply for a job, and if they are calling me for if they are calling me for an interview, I can go and attend. Just without a purpose, just without a proper time, you can't make up things. So wait for the right time. If I wanted to go for a coaching class to improve my English, if my family situation is not good, I should wait for the right time to make it, right? So wait for your time, and when your turn comes, turn the tables, stand out of the box, and make it up, because nobody is going to do except you. So when your time comes, be punctual and make it up. Okay. Work on the needs. So there are certain things that we may feel is not needed now. I'm getting a salary of 10,000. I wanted to pay for my siblings' education. I wanted to pay for the groceries of my family. I wanted to pay the debts of my father. So everything comes into this 10,000. In this 10,000, should I bring my comfort? Definitely not. You should skip out of the comfort zone. That is how you can analyze what is actually needed. So I may think like, why don't I take a set of new kurta for my next meeting? I may think, and there is no mistake in thinking so. But there is something that you should understand what is a need, and your need has to be addressed, and that actually makes a sense in breaking a barrier. Okay, if at all you're addressing some unwanted needs, then you are making your barrier to gradually increase, and not your barrier is not going to decrease. So make sense where you are going to make it up. Like, you should analyze what is the need. Okay, be calm. Actually, I mentioned this in the very first slide of the presentation. Like, you may feel distracted. I may feel like when everybody mock at me, like when people tell you that you are not capable of doing this, if you are calm, that makes a different sense. And if you are agitated and if you are shouting at them, that makes a different sound, a different sense. There's a proverb in English called empty vessels make much noise. So it is in your hands to show whether you're a full vessel or if you are an empty vessel. Yeah. So you should handle your negative vibes in a calm way, so that that calmness will will pay a right direction to you to show your destination. So be calm in all the situations, right? Don't be idle. I go for coaching classes to learn English. And after returning back from my coaching class, if at all, if I did not touch my materials for the next couple of days, I will not remember whatever is taught to me in the coaching class or whatever the training is given to me. So it is in my hands to tackle things. So if I am idle, I'm not going to make it up. So Idleness doesn't make any point here, especially when you wanted to improve your area of weakness. So breaking barrier is something that when you overcome your weakness, right? So if you have to overcome your weakness, then definitely you should not sit idle. If you wanted to be class topper, you should work on it. Wake up early in the morning. Put a schedule for you. Keep studying every day. Keep completing your lessons all the day. Be wise. Before a teacher completes a unit, you should complete a unit. And that's how toppers work, right? So if at all you wanted to be a topper, this will be the unique strategy that you have to follow. If you wanted to be a businessman, compare yourself with billionaires and millionaires and not with a normal businessman, so that you will, like, you will put yourself in an advanced stage where things are going to work better than those of normal people. Okay, so you should never think of being idle when you wanted to make the actual progress of your life, right? Next slide. Experience effervescence. Effervescence is the most essential part of breaking a barrier. Whom do we call as an effervescent person? An effervescent person is somebody who is always active and who performs things in such an active way so that, like, their colleagues or somebody else will always be surprised to see them. I'm one such a kind of student actually. I will always project the uniqueness in me. So if at all you have to be unique, you should be active. And just think of those who have reached higher destinations in their life. They're all active people. Active thing, actually, you should implement being active from your young age. Like, I don't know how many people will believe this. I used to wake up at 5 a.m. from my first standing. My father started giving me practice for waking up at 5 a.m. from my first standing. So something that begins early will definitely take you to the destination earlier. So you will have to work on being effervescent, okay? Remember to continue things. When you have to improvise yourself, when you have to knock down your barriers in a more stronger way, you should improvise certain things. So keep thinking on the dimensions where normal people fail to think. So your multiple perspectives and your unique thinking will definitely lead you to the better destination, right? Never forget the target. So whenever you are on your destination, you may face so many distractions. I will tell you, distract your distractions so that your route is clear. A rabbit knows this is the finish point. The rabbit will definitely make it, but not the other rabbits will do it. Okay? So when your destination is clear, every distraction that comes on your way is just like kicking a ball. Okay, so be familiar with what your target is and what is going to be the result of your target. Okay, when you go along with the crowd, you will be one among the crowd. When you go apart from the crowd, you will be out of the box. That is what actually I mean with this point. Maintain limits. Okay, maintaining limits, especially when it comes to breaking barrier, is one of the specific points that you have to note. I am going to a job to improve the finance of my family. If I work overtime, I'm not going to get extra salary for that. Yes, I'm going to be paid the same 10,000 every month until my experience actually counts, right? So do not cross the limits of your strength. That will actually put you in in trouble. Like you may get illness, or you will not be able to focus on things properly, something like that. So you should identify what is the limit, and you should not exceed the limit. Okay, for example, let's take a person finds it very hard to mingle with friends. So when I start mingling with my friends, I should not cross my limits in that. If at all I cross my limits, I'm going to be the sufferer. So you should try to maintain the limits when it comes to handling your barriers. Stay on spirit. Never think of giving up certain things just because you aren't able to focus properly or you aren't able to make it up today. If today is not your cup of tea, then tomorrow is definitely going to be your flask of coffee. Remember that. If something is not happening good today, then tomorrow it is definitely going to be better. So keep up your spirits. Don't discourage yourself the way society does to you. Okay? So it is in your hands to work on things better than everything. So keep focused on what you actually need. That actually makes sense. Okay? Practice pays off. Keep practicing small things every day. All at once, a baby does not start walking, running. When you are a baby, you might have crawled, you might have tried to stand up, you might have fall down a million times. Success actually means getting up even after thousand failures. Every get up move counts to your success. So don't give up on things very easily because if you are ready to give up, somebody is ready to catch it up. Yeah, why do you have to give your chance to somebody else? It is your journey. You are on your path towards the destination. All of a sudden, if you give up, somebody from behind you is going to take it up. So don't give a chance for that. Next slide is act on time. So punctuality matters when it comes to breaking barriers. Know when to do. I know I should go to the coaching class. When should I go? Should I sit full day in that coaching class? No. There is a specific time allotted to me where I should go and train myself, when I should go and train myself. So do things on time, okay? Prepare to face. You might get an obstacle on your way. For example, you are very enthusiastic. You woke up early in the morning. You studied for your exam very well, but the part where you omitted has appeared in your exam. Immediately don't depress yourself. Prepare yourself to face situations that are out of your hands so that you will experience yourself to handle better things in life. Okay? Make it easy at heart. So when you forget answers or when you forget, like, I studied this question, I'm not able to put it properly. More often, I used to forget poem lines when I write my exams. So immediately, initially I will forget the subsequent answers if I get depressed or if I'm worried at it, if I'm taking it to the heart. Whereas I will have the at least one or two words in my mind through which I can make it up. So don't complicate things by your heart. Just don't take simple things to your heart so that you may not complicate it. Okay? Try to handle things which are easy in an easy way. Okay? Do not postpone. If you are postponing something like, okay, I'm not very active today, let me study this syllabus tomorrow. Tomorrow, you might get a burden on your shoulder. Like, you may not be well enough to read, or you may have some family circumstances, like you may not be able to be make find time to read, or like you will have some other extra works or assignments or something like that. In that case, tomorrow is not going to work out. Today is your day. If not now, then when? If not you, then who? This is something that you have to keep in your mind when you do things so that you will not get a chance to postpone things, right? Be punctual. Yes, this is something that I've addressed earlier. You should be punctual on time. If you're going for an interview, be punctual. If you are not punctual on time, that will bring a black mark to your career, and that will, stay as an everlasting negative impression on you. So don't give space for that. Be punctual on everything, not only like from the very beginning. I'm addressing towards like interviews, coaching classes for English learning, so and so. Punctuality is one of the unique qualities of humans, like not everybody will be punctual. So when you are not punctual, you will lose certain things. So don't give space for somebody to grab your things. It is your time and you have to make it on. So make it, don't delay. Break it. Yes. How to break a barrier? It is actually my perception, how I take it. In the same way, when I handle it, I should be strong enough. So to be strong enough, I can't expect encouragement from around me. So I should be, you know, wise enough to handle my distractions, and I should be wise enough to encourage me, so that I need not expect somebody to come and encourage me. So push yourself forward when nobody is going to do it for you. In fact, I have this thought process in my mind, like my backstabbers are pushing me front. So by taking this point into mind, I actually forget about my backstabbers. So there are difference between waking up after being backstabbed by someone and not waking up. So I am the one who never falls down for backstabs. I take this in my mind like my backstabbers are pushing me forward, whereas they are behind me. So it is in your hands to push yourself forward with everything that comes on your way. Okay? Know your strength. When you address your weakness, you should also learn to address your strength. There will be a certain strength in a weakness. You should find it out. I know this word. For example, let's take the word in the previous slide, effervescent. I know the word, but I'm not able to spell it out. So I know the word is my strength. I'm not able to spell it out, or I'm not able to put it in the written form is my weakness. So that has to be addressed, and that weakness has to be dealt, so that your weakness turns into your strength. Okay? Think before you do. This is one of the important things that you will have to make note when it comes to breaking barriers. Just because all are doing, I'm also doing it. No, that's not right. You should think twice and thrice before you do things, so that you don't make mistakes and you also create a good impression on whatever you do. So make it to the point that you are doing something useful. Okay? So if at all it has to be useful, you should think 1,000 times before you do one thing. Okay? Primary proposals. Yes, here primary proposals, I mean taking baby steps towards the destination. You should all at once, if I get depressed for my barrier, and if I think like I'm not able to handle it, it's not my thing. So I should, like I should have some interest to overcome my barrier. Oh yeah, people are mocking at me, people are criticizing me. What's the point in this? Why should I give space for them? Why don't I make a space for myself? So it is through primary proposals, it is through certain interest that you give to yourself, you can break your barriers. So make note of it. Hydrate and dehydrate. Yes, this might be a new one. Hydrate, I will tell like do things when it is actually to be done. And dehydrate in the sense take a break wherever necessary. I am continuously preparing for my exams. I'll get strained and my brain will be dull the next day when I appear for my exams. I may not be active. I may lack in energy. So there are certain things where you have to hydrate yourself and dehydrate yourself. If I am wasting my time, my intuition will say, just go and prepare for your exams. That is how I should hydrate myself. And if at all I'm stressed by continuous preparation for a whole day, I may feel, like lacking somewhere when I appear for the exam. So that actually will put you in a state that it will bring more stress to you. So you should know when you should hydrate yourself and when you should dehydrate yourself. So yes, guys, good, better, best. Never let it rest till the good becomes better and better becomes best. It is all in your hands. So breaking barriers is not going to be easy for everybody. But if at all you are going to do that, then definitely you are going to achieve something that your backstabbers haven't achieved. So keep that in mind. It is your life, it is your time, and it is your barrier. Nobody is going to do it for you except you. So make things for yourself. Keep going, keep growing. Thank you for patience listening.